Good evening everyone and welcome to Canobolas. We appreciate this opportunity to have the Independent Hazard Reduction Audit Panel here to talk to our people and to hear a little bit about the work that we do here in Canobolas. So we'll flick through the slides fairly quickly just to put you in the perspective of this central part of New South Wales that we are responsible for. The shires of Blaney, Orange, Cabon and Cowra make up our Canobolas Zone Bushfire Management Committee. We cover some 10,600 square kilometres, elevation range up to about 1,395 metres at the top of Canobolas. We've got a number of major towns and with the city of Orange, Cowra, Blaney, Molong, Canoundra and so forth, and numerous villages scattered across the zone. Population of some 72,000, which does increase dramatically in the summer period, particularly in the Wyangla in the Cowra area, when we get a lot of tourists. And our industries are basically based around agriculture, mining and forestry and tourism, and with some manufacturing. Probably a key difference to our landscape compared to a lot of others is our land tenure split up. Only 4.22% national park, very small area lands department, small area of forest, and a significant area of private lands, some 93%. And one thing that our risk plan that we developed in 2003-2004 did do was expose the myth that all the problems in relation to hazard reduction were to do with national parks and state forests, because we really have a lot of private land that is fire prone. Our risk profile, we're basically a rural and agricultural environment. We have a significant rural residential interface with our major towns, with the city of Orange, and we have some 300 to 500 incidents per year, so we're reasonably active. And our main sources of ignition, lightning strikes, electrical infrastructure. Electrical infrastructure has been a significant one over the years, but there's been a lot of work done in improving that in recent times, especially since the Victorian fires, and the other normal arson, malicious fires, vehicles, and so forth. Our topography: undulating tablelands, grazing country in the east, through to orchards and vineyards in the centre, and some of the western areas, and also the cropping and agricultural areas to the west. Our fuel types range from grasslands through to dry sclerophyll in our fire-prone land, and we have a mixture of both, which goes to make up the uniqueness of our zone. On the next slide, Jeff. In 2003-2004, we developed a new generation risk management plan following the Goobang fires of 2000-2001. We adopted some key principles when we developed that plan, and a lot of those principles were adopted in the development of the new state policy, which is the basis of the current risk management plans across the state. And these principles included the community consultation, the tenure-blind nature of the plan, the fact that it was map-based and so forth. You'll see on the maps on either side of the room, we have our plan. Basically, it's one big wall map. The map that's got the orange on it shows our fire-prone areas and the fire management regimes that apply to those areas. And basically, our strategic fire advantage zones have a 10-year cycle. Our land management zones have a 20-year cycle, and our APZs have a 1 to 3 year cycle. And as a result of putting all that together, we came up with an annual target that we needed to achieve in the Canobolas zone of some 9,147 hectares per year. And for the last 8 years, we've been setting out to meet those requirements. So we have targets, we have benchmarks, and we have some accountability in our Bushfire Management Committee to actually go out and achieve those targets. We were audited in 2009, and we received a 91.63% compliance with our plan, so it's probably one of the best audit results that has been achieved from the auditing of a risk management plan, and that goes to it's a real credit to the agencies that work on our Bushfire Management Committee and the contribution that they make to ensure that we do meet those targets and do get that work done. And we're currently working on addressing our new plan. We're reviewing our old one, and we're developing a new risk plan to comply with the new policy that's required. We've got our hazard reduction history on the value of the properties that we've been protecting, and that's been steadily increasing, and we've had some significant results in what we've been able to achieve. Our next slide shows the fire history before we had a plan. So if you look at that plan on the side, everything that's basically included there is, it's a bigger area than Canobolas zone. And when the study was originally done, we came up with some calculations on the total fire-prone area we're looking at, and we had to achieve on that study area some 15,000 hectares a year. And there was only 3 years that got above that line, and what's interesting to reflect back on, that was years of significant fire activity, and the only years we're actually achieving the result that our landscape required. So since we've developed our plan, we've now had 8 years of work. Now we're now just looking at Canobolas zone. We've cut this data to just our zone area, which is the map on the top there, just behind the panel. And that shows that over the last 8 years, we've actually exceeded our annual benchmark on 6 years out of the 8. And overall, we're running at some 23% ahead of where we should be after 8 years. So the remarkable change of before we had a plan, not being able to achieve the results that we had planned for our landscape, now with a plan as we've had and the commitment of our agencies on our BFMC, we've been able to meet those targets and get a couple of years up our sleeve in case we get some wet years ahead of us. So, how are we going? If you look at the maps on the side or the one there in the middle, you'll see all those green areas, that's the fire-prone land. The yellow areas are the areas within that fire-prone land that we've been able to treat and are within the fire threshold that's required for that parcel of land. And when we started out in 8 years ago, we had very, very few areas that were yellow, and that basically applied to the Goobang area as a result of that fire. In the last 8 years, we've been progressively working to get that mosaic pattern of treated land across our landscape. If you just go to the website. Just to divert slightly to the Canobolas website, which has got our hazard reduction figures up there for everyone to see. We completed just over 12,000 hectares last financial year, which is a significant result. And for the last 5 years, we've been running along pretty well, achieving some pretty significant results. And down lower, you'll see the results that we've achieved each year, and the fact that we're now some 17,000 hectares above where we should have been after 8 years. So, as I said, we've got some time up our sleeve. If we go back to the slides, Jeff, the next one shows us the significant things we've done in the last year. We've done lots of mechanical work around our communication sites, both pre and post season. We've made extensive use of the state mitigation support crews. We've done some other work that is not directly resulted with hazard reduction, but is involved with mitigation of fires. We've constructed an airstrip. We've done fire trail signage. Our councils have done significant roadside management work. And we've continued our community consultation program, and to us, that community consultation program and that consultation with our volunteers and our brigades and our community is most important. So, to us, consultation with our volunteers hinges around our Gumtree meetings and the fact that we go out to listen to our volunteers. You know, this is our signature picture, I suppose, under a gum tree. That was a great day. We were able to deliver that new second-hand truck to that brigade, and they were most thankful for it. We don't always get to take such nice presents to our brigades, but quite often we do. but to be able to sit around in the natural environment and listen to our volunteers, listen to their concerns, and take on board what they're saying and then act on them is something that we pride ourselves in doing. And we've been doing this consultation program now for 8 or 9 years, and we continue it twice every year. And next week we start it again for the next round. That's very positive. So Jeff, quickly, if we flick through the slides, this is helping us develop a strong relationship with our agencies. Got to click it again for this one, Jeff. We've been doing extensive fire trial works. We want to have fire on our terms, where we have control of it, not the other way around, where fire has control of us. And we'll just flick through these slides one after the other to give you an understanding of some of the work that we've been doing in that regard. That's a particularly good one of the east boundary of Goobang National Park, I think last year. Our councils are very strong here on the management of roadside vegetation, and we're doing some really good work and expanding on it all the time. And it plays a major role in helping to protect our community. Work in villages, asset protection zones in the villages. Our councils are very supportive in that regard, and we appreciate their help in that way. Burning in villages, a recent hazard reduction burn that took place in Yagara in the township, and that the Yagara township is very keen to be involved in this following the major fire that they had back there in 2001, which played havoc in that community. The airstrip that we constructed at Larris-Lee will play a role in helping us to mitigate our fire risk across the zone. Fire trail signage, we gained funding through the Fire Mitigation Works Fund for that, and all our signs have been prepared. A significant number have been erected, and that's a project that we're working on finishing off at the moment, but fire trail signage plays a key role in managing our landscape. A new risk plan. We're probably dragging the chain a bit with a lot of other bushfire management committees that we haven't renewed our risk plan yet. We're well on the process towards doing it. Our new plan will comply with the new policy, the 2008 policy, but we're also looking to build on the work that we developed in 2003, 2004, and the things that we've achieved over the last 8 years. We've upgraded our data and recalibrated our figures, and we've got a Bushfire Management Committee meeting coming up on the 15th of November where we plan to run it past our agencies, put it on public exhibition, hopefully before Christmas. So that's all coming together in a very positive way. So this map here, and the one you see on the screen, looks at our new risk profile across the zones. We've taken a new approach of looking at our communities as our assets and grading our communities on the basis of their risk. And as a result, next slide please, Jeff, we'll have a plan which will be a next generation in risk planning. It will comply with the policy. It'll be risk-based, it'll be map-based, it'll be tenure blind, and it's going to combine risk management with operations and pre-incident planning and also business planning, because the way we see the world, that all the activities that we do here as an RFS zone office, all the activities, whether it be infrastructure, management, membership services or operations, plays a key role in the management of the risk that we have in our zone. And the way we want our plan to work is that all the things that come out of our risk plan are the tasks which we apply day to day in our zone, the responsibilities that we have, and it gives a buy-in for everyone to really understand the risk planning process and how important it is to the community. So we hope that our new risk plan will make risk planning relevant to everyone, and hopefully, as we did 8 years ago, provide some positive input to helping the risk planning process, that we'll be able to repeat that again. And for the last few years, we've sort of been singing the mantra here from Canobolas zone that risk management is our passion and hazard reduction is our priority. And I think we can successfully look back on the last 8 years and show that we've been pretty successful in achieving that result. And it's all been positive. So thank you very much.
Thanks, David.